Western players are likely X-Men vs. It missed Street Fighter entirely, but Capcom has graced Japanese Sega Saturn owners with one of the richest fighting games in their catalog. This is the prequel to the beloved Marvel vs. Capcom series. Things like character assists, star teams put together, and super combos are all revealed. X-Men vs. Street Fighter really shines in how well it plays. It's crazy and the animations are astonishing. The crazy gameplay has been made smoother as the Saturn controller is specially made for fighting games. Knights is the unofficial mascot of Saturn. While some love Knights into Dreams, others complain that it replaces a proper Sonic the Hedgehog version on Sega's 32-bit console. Knights is a 2.5D platform game where the player flies around to collect orbs and get a high enough score to pass the stage. Other components such as enemies, time, and small 3D segments all affect gameplay. Knights received a remake, and although the remake looks better, it's essentially the same game apart from the visual enhancements. The Saturn version still looks good and the controls are in place. It's one of the easiest games to buy. Dragon Force is a real-time strategy RPG that pits the player against a host of different nations to battle for territory and ultimate control over a vast continent. A surprisingly deep RPG that gives the player a lot of choice. The player must choose how to defend the bases, keep their generals happy, and carefully and meticulously plan their attacks on enemy territory. Battles, on the other hand, have more sprites on the screen than most RPGs released in the 20th century, and it's fun to watch the two armies battle. It also takes a lot of brownie Super Puzzle Fighter looks good visually as well as fun to play. It takes chibi versions of Street Fighter and Darkstalker's characters and brings them into battle. Only this war is about breaking jewels, not bones. At its core, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 is a puzzle game in which the player must match colored stones and use a glowing orb of the same color to smash the jewels. The more gems the player breaks, the more damage they do to their opponent. It sounds easy, but it isn't, and each character has a unique strategy. Good players know their opponent's playstyle and change their playstyle accordingly. Thanks to the simple but effective aesthetic, this one is as playable as ever. Take RPGs and beat-em-ups, put them together, and you have Guardian Heroes. This is a 2D fighting game with multiple heroes and different battlefield layers to jump between. On top of that, characters level up and gain new abilities, which sets the game apart from other beat-em-ups. Guardian Heroes also has an important story. There's a lot of dialogue and character interaction. Sometimes it slows the pace of the game while rewarding players who enjoy deeper mechanics and editing. Guardian Heroes still looks great graphically, and no other game feels like it. Ask Saturn fans what's the best shooting on console, and they'll most likely say Radiant Silvergun. It was a Japanese-only version, but there has never been a shootout like this. The Radiant Silvergun offers the player an array of weapons to choose from, including melee weapons such as knives. Stages contain platforming elements unlike most shoot-em-ups, except that the player simply destroys what comes on the screen. It will cost a few bucks to get this game on original hardware, but this is a must for anyone who considers himself a big shmup fan. Virtua Fighter 2 fixed everything that was wrong with the original game and made it so much better. Released in 1995, it's surprising how well this game looks on Saturn. There were no hiccups or frame rate issues, and the 3D polygons looked far ahead of almost any other Saturn game released that year. Virtua Fighter 2 is also suitable for beginners. Simple to play but hard to master. After a rough launch, Saturn gave fans something to brag about and remains the ultimate 3D fighter to this day. For fans looking for more, Fighters Megamix features the Panzer Dragoon Saga is generally considered the best Sega Saturn game. Unlike the early Panzer Dragoon games, Saga includes more RPG elements. You can both walk and fly in the game. Although somewhat bleak, the story remains one of the best told in video game history. The graphics could use a fresh coat of paint, but the addictive gameplay of Panzer Dragoon Saga was never emulated. It is often forgotten as a very late Saturn title and is ridiculously expensive nowadays. Those who play it will I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said Saturn Bomberman is the best Bomberman game ever made. This is mostly because it allows up to 10 players to play simultaneously. A multiplayer adapter is required to do this. Alongside the insane multiplayer possibilities, there's a surprisingly fun single-player mode, gorgeous graphics, and